Because you can't keep cutting everybody out because everyone is always going to hurt you. And you are going to be hurting people. And once you cut people out, it means your presumption is that you don't do that to you. You are not capable of doing that.
Yeah. Wake up to the fact that now you also hurt people. And I think that's what sobers me in most things.
It's very sobering.
So sobering. When you're like, hey, it's something that I also might have made a mistake in and done, right? And then it kind of makes you think, okay, maybe, hold on. But then it's when you remove yourself and you're like, I would never do that, I would never, Then you feel this entitlement to hold this rage against this person and you're like, you have to work to earn my trust again. But you're not willing to meet them.
The thing that I don't know, what are the ingredients to rebuilding trust for people who do want to
rebuild trust. In a way that's sustainable, in a way that's true, also in a way that's honest.
Yeah.
We just spoke to Mbesi's father. Shout out, Dad! And he was saying, you can never really trust someone if you've never really doubted. So the example he made, a girl maybe has a new boyfriend. Shout out, Dada. And every time when he says he's coming, the girl's like, is he really gonna come? But every single time where she wonders this, he actually comes, right? And so this is how you build this process of trust, and you start to think, well, you know what, this person's reliable, they're dependable, they do what they say they're going to do.
And that's why when it's broken, it feels like this whole, like, you've unraveled
all these
so
data points.
Much. Yeah. There's so many points where I chose to trust you.
Yeah.
Yes, I doubted, but I chose, and now there's that part that hurts you even deeper. You know me very well, you've done this, but I don't expect that from you. But now it has happened. Where does responsibility and maturity come into it to say, I'm going to have this conversation, as awkward as it is, I'm going to extend forgiveness, but do I need to build trust? Is it foolish to go and try and trip over the same boulder that I tripped at the previous time? And that's why I think it gets hard.
And trust is very closely linked to vulnerability. And that's why I think it's one of the hardest things to rebuild. And definitely, if I've known you for a long time, chances are over time would fall back into the rhythms of the way we are with each other and how I freely just disclose things. But I do think that because it's so attached to vulnerability, the breaking of trust, and especially if it's severe, has the ability to change my disposition towards you even without me being aware. So we're still friends, but there's certain things that I don't tell you now because I feel like you can't hold that part of me, you know. So even though to you may not pick it up, I think it's possible to exist in reconciled relationships, at least I've seen it for myself, where I still love you and we're still friends, but there are pieces of me that I can't trust you with because I've seen I've trusted you and I've seen you, break those pieces of me. So as much as forgiveness, all those things, and now we're back together, because vulnerability, I think, with humans, and I mean, the older you become, the less you care about being vulnerable, but because it's you just say it all, but because it's such a hard thing to let people into that very deep detail, the things that make you the way you are, and for someone to play with it, it affects you.
But I wonder, with what you're saying, that the relationship now molds into something else as a result of that singular experience. Do you think maybe it is our fear of change that doesn't allow us to rebuild trust? So it's because I used to share with you deeply, now I've come to a new point where, you know what, we can still be friends, but maybe I'm not going to share those things. That I want to so hold on to the idea of what I think our relationship should be like in order for it to exist, right? Yeah. Whereas maybe it can exist, but in a new form, and that can be okay for the next process of it, until maybe it morphs into something else. But I think sometimes maybe that process of breaking the trust, it sparks new boundaries into the relationship. So that the relationship can exist in a new form. Yeah, healthily, right? And they become good and important for moving forward. But because we're so afraid of change, we're like, you know what, if we can't be best friends, like actually maybe, like,
we can't just be friends.
Like, let's just like leave it at that. And my mom always says to me, it's so important that you learn to take the good in people. Like, there's always going to be something good to take.
That's true.
And to use that good in the next process, because they're still going to be good despite the fact that there was some kind of dismantling in the past. But I don't know how to...
I wonder. Like, think about relationships like husbands and wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. When someone steps out, there is a decision. If you don't want the marriage to end, if you don't want the relationship to end, you decide to continue with this person with the clear scar that you've taken. There's a scar, but you still decide that I still want to be with you. And being with you needs for me to trust you. And I think that's where the tension comes. But you're not answering your phone, I'm wondering. Okay. But remember, okay, we're in a new place, I've decided to be this person. Alright. I just think it opens a new prison.
Yeah.
Like a new, but then someone would argue that you decided to take this forward, even though you've seen this thing, so then stick it right through. So I think in those places where it's more obvious, like I want to trust you but I'm not sure, I want to trust you but I'm not sure, can a relationship really exist in the place where I know that there's certain things I can't share with you, there's certain things I can't believe. When you say it, I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if that's really true. Like then what is that?
Maybe the bridge is forgiveness. I don't know. If I can forgive my partner and decide, it means there's an issue of forgiveness elsewhere. If they can do it, why is it so hard to extend that same kind of grace and forgiveness and that decision making in larger friendships? Is it because you don't really need those people? Is it like, you know what, I don't really need you in my life, I don't have to.
But then it's I can forgive you but not want to build the bridge, which I think is also a real thing.
Yeah, no, that's
where
also
I forgive you, I hold nothing against you, but I don't want to build the bridge. I don't.
But you let go of everything, the whole thing, everything that friendship was. You let it go because of this one instance.
I won't let it go, but it definitely has evolved. And it will take time for me to fall back into our regular rhythm. But if you weren't that close, I'll probably modify what I expect of you.
And I actually wonder, like, say if you break someone's trust.
Yeah.
If it's you now who's being the perpetrator
Contrite.
to break some, be it intentional or not,
Unintentional.
you know? And you are remorseful. This is another thing. It depends if someone's remorseful at all. If someone's just like, bruh, you know, versus I'm actually really sorry. And then let's say you are remorseful and you do approach the person and you are aware that person feels like their trust has been broken. Would you understand, like, let me pull back, let me give this person a chance to walk through this thing, and then if they do choose to extend trust to me again, wow, like that's so great. So like I wonder, like if it's turned around, would it inform how you treat someone else?
That's a good one.
You both have to approach it humbly, that I'm going to choose not to preempt that, you're probably going to do it again. But on the other side, I'm also going to give you room, which is hard. It's incredibly hard.
It's a choice to be vulnerable, I guess.
Exactly.
To rebuild trust. Is to say, you know what? It might happen again. You actually might just redo the thing that you said you'd never do again that hurt me in the first place. And it might just slash into a particular insecurity maybe that I have from a previous relationship or a previous friendship or my background or my... But at the same time, I'm going to take the risk. Ne?
And it's a risk.
And it's a real risk and it really hurts. And I'm going to say, maybe let's reconnect and see how things are going to turn out.
Yeah.
But I think if we are fallible and we're human and we're dust, as we always say on the show, because we are dust.
I love it.
We are dust. Then that means that there's always going to be constantly rebuilding bridges in some ways. But what's more important is honesty, to be able to speak and say, this is what hurts me about what you've done.
As difficult as it is, I just think like, wow, it's your choice.
Yeah, it is your choice.
It is your choice.
Yeah.
And to know that when you do decide, it is a risk, and a risk that you need to decide if it's worth taking. I don't think it's right though to cut people out forever and to just be like, I'll never to see you again, that's it, without even trying. Like it's not fair to say, this person broke my trust, you've never told them.
Yeah.
You just walk out of their life, which I think is always the easy way out, and I just don't agree with it. Have
It
the
takes time,
conversation.
what I'm busy. It just takes time. Sometimes you just have to walk out for some time.
Oh no.
Like, just walk out for some time, then I'll figure it out later.
Take the time you need, but I'm saying you can't now be like this person to someone else. This person hurt me, but you've never had the conversation with them. And I think when you are ready, have the conversation and decide how you want to move forward. And so now, in terms of like the workings of how you fix it, I think that it is important that you don't keep, like, you know, when you say this person hurt me, but now we've decided that yes, this person needs to understand they hurt you, they want to rebuild. You are saying you've hurt me, I want to rebuild. When that has been established, moving forward, this one that hurt you is still gonna make some kind of mistakes, and even maybe mistakes that are not similar to ones, but now you can't be like,
or if they can be similar to those ones.
They might even be very similar. And you're quick to be like, see, there's that thing.
Yeah.
See, this is why I can't trust this person.
Yeah.
There has to be a willingness to kind of step away from that and say, you know what, maybe it was a mistake. Benefit of the doubt. And the one who hurt you needs to also understand that, actually, I wonder, do they have room to be like, dude, don't don't be so extra. Like, why are you being? Do they have room?
I think after some time, then they almost like they regain an identity in the relationship and the power dynamic change. Because I think at the beginning, right, you know you are the perpetrator, so you are constantly there's a bigger and the king. You constantly like so you're working, and I think there's a certain point if the person keeps like rehashing the record of wrongs. There's a point where they can say, you know what, if you keep doing this is going to mess up everything that we're trying to rebuild. And I think they regain a voice. And that person also has to take that pill and be like, Yazindon, I'm actually sabotaging what we're trying to build right now. It's almost like making a decision to say, I'm going to act in how I want to see the relationship becoming for it to be re-established.
I'm going to continue moving forward, hoping that we can
And I think a part of it is it's a very, number one, selfless action, but number two, I think there needs to be a sense of this extreme value that you place on the relationship. Otherwise, there's no anchor. Because the anchor is, I value this so deeply that I'm willing to go through it. Because if you don't place value on it, then that's when I think, or when the value that you used to place on it has been tainted beyond the point that you feel you can come back from it. It's what's going to anchor the willingness to say that even when you continue to act in ways that make me be like, hey, what's up? That I'm still going to choose to build it. There's nothing.
I think this topic is open, and I think these conversations also evolve with time. And as you get more and more hurt, you kind of gain more skills about how to do conflict resolution and whether you've decided to trust people or not. And I think it'll be interesting to hear how you guys feel in the comments. You have a temple.
I do. This is the second time you've noticed this.
It's very charming. So yeah, sorry.
Your choice of words.
It's really charming.
Why? Because you don't know it's there, so it's charming.
So yeah, when you see it, like, oh, that's very nice. So we'd love to hear your stories, how you've worked through it. Maybe there's someone who's got a victory story to say, you know what, I actually...
And I was able to restore that person to their former glory. They become my best friend again. They become my very close...
And I've seen it was a mistake. I love them. I've moved on.
Or I was forgiven and that transformed who I am as a person. In that verse it says, love covers over a multitude of sins.
What does that mean? But even just the process, sharing with us, I mean, other tips in the process of rebuilding and what that looks like for you, we'll surely need it in the future. As we break others and they break us, and we're all refined by each other. Thanks, friends.
See you in the comments.
Bye.
Bye. Wow.
Everything is happening.
Guys, can you just pause it for 1 second? Was there something about the video?
I just wanted to say, moving from forgiveness, there has to be a restoration, which means you restore the person to where he or she was before, and then you trust that person to him.
What does that mean then?
If somebody who got emotional, then what the emotion we are so sad. We are so sad. What do you have kinds of telephone? What do you call it? You have an option of not restoring that person. So I didn't tell what I don't want to have anything to do with that person.
Yeah.
But then when you start fine, then you bring the person back to friend, your trust again also begins
before, yeah.
Out completely. So we said
that's helpful. Sure. Thanks, Dad.